And we are back off the gym this morning, gonna go through some of my rehab and then tell you what's in store. We have got a double session today. Double session meaning we've got a lift and a run. So as we build back up, which I'm going to show you today through some of the rehab that I'm doing, so we can finally get back into the marathon prep from the start of July. I'm still going to be prioritizing. Still going to be prioritizing my lifts because I want to hold as much. The goal for me is to hold as much tissue as possible whilst doing the marathon. So I have in the past done a lot of my runs and cardio sessions prior to lifting, and that's when I'm purely looking at composition because the goal and the priority is fat loss, so I'll do that first. But it's performance now. So tissue, running. So today we're going to get a lift in. I'm going to go through some of my rehab that I'm doing for my calf. I'm going to show you through some of the session. A little bit of it. Kicking off today's session with some rehab again. I've still been going over the movements that I've been given by physio, just in order to strengthen that right calf, and ultimately here I'm learning how to balance again. My right foot seems to be way off when I'm planting during running, so I've had to wear quite extensively over the last couple of weeks. However, please don't copy any of the movements that I'm doing. These have been set for me, so I've been doing some balancing work. I've also been having to really stretch out my ankles and my Achilles because they've been super stiff ever since I broke my leg, kind of 10 years ago. Now this work usually takes up to around 15 minutes, and I'll also do some strength work, mainly on the right leg. The reason why the principle is for running is that you realistically should be able to get 20 reps on each leg of single leg calf raises. Now moving into today's workout, which is going to be a chest and tricep session. I've changed my split around for next week going into the marathon prep, which is going to look a little bit different, but today's session I'm still focusing on tempo work, and we are kicking off with some pre-exhaustion today before going into the main presses. Still with sets, I'm going with a warm-up, one heavy set, and then one back-off set. Most people believe they need to do 4 sets of everything, which of course you don't. I think for me it's just too much volume, especially when I'm spending so much time under tension. I'm in the gym usually now for about an hour, a bit longer with rehab usually, but my goal for the next 12 weeks will still to be maintain tissue whilst I'm doing the marathon, get stronger, and ultimately look the best that I can and get and build the most aerobic base that I can.
There's so much fat, mate, that slows the digestion. You'd have to save all the burgers and fries and fucking pizza and shit for the back end of the day.
It was good, it was calorific, but it just made me feel sick.
So Ben and Jerry's as well, back end of the day.
Yeah, that's why Here's me and Will just chatting absolute shit about how we're gonna go into an absolute food fuckery straight after I finished the marathon, and he's got an upcoming bodybuilding show where he's competing for his pro card, I believe. Now, finishing off today's session with one of my favourite movements. This is kind of a mix, blend, hybrid, do you like that? Between doing a skull crusher and a close grip bench press. So if you watch here, I'll stretch down, bring it back in, and then press up. But then I'll also finish off the set with a few reps of just close grip bench press when I've reached absolute failure to fry the triceps out to the absolute max at the end of the session. So, we're going to be doing 6k today. Can't put as much volume through the foot at the moment until I've had a sign off from the specialist. So we're doing a cheeky 6, get out and about, stretch the legs and enjoy it. There's been quite a few things there that I've been struggling with since starting back running again. But we'll talk about that on the run. think I found the most surprising is the fact that there's very little crossover between the bike and running, i.e. my aerobic fitness is really struggling compared to where it used to be at. The max I've been able to push at the moment is about 10k. The other thing I found quite difficult is sometimes going running with Lucy, because she's at the absolute peak pinnacle of where fitness is now as she comes to the end of her ultra marathon prep, and I'm just coming to the start of the prep for the marathon where I'm at my worst point. So I need to get out and do more runs on my own. I think the other thing I'm going to find quite difficult through this when I begin the marathon prep is the heat, because the London Marathon this year has moved to October, so it means that I've got to do the prep through most of summer, which for anyone who goes running, the heat massively pushes your heart rate up, because it's obviously a lot more difficult and taxing. But we're still fasted up until this point, so breakfast. So straight back in the game with a nice bloody toe. All over the cream carpet, went down well. Here's just a quick physique update that I filmed. My goal was up to July to get down to 190 pounds, which I haven't done. I'm still sitting around 194, mainly due to the fact that I'm just an absolute food monster and I like going into the cupboards and gobbling everything in sight, especially when Love Island's on, so there we go. Shall I go through and do this with you now whilst we're on the phone, or?
Yeah, if you want, and if not,
So if I'm on, yeah, if I'm on email status search now, am I in the right place? So we've got 6 egg whites and 1 whole egg, and then somewhere between 50 to 100 grams of smoked salmon, my favourite. Bit of mayo, bit of salt. I've been having this more often ever since I had the IBS symptoms, which was weird because ever since I went to America they seem to have vanished and gone away, which has been great. So I think they were heavily related to stress, and something that I've not really spoke about too much. And obviously not going through a day's worth of dieting today, but the diet has stayed similar to when I went away. However, I just added a few more bits in slowly. I've had no stomach issues, and I like to get some protein in now in the morning instead of the oats. I'm sure I'll have it in at some point. But this has been a staple of the day, and it just works. So we call this the new fast breaker. So one of the other things that I'm currently using is Athletic Greens. I've been using this for about a month and a half to 2 months now. They're actually one of the sponsors of our podcast, and it's been one of the things that's really helped me with my gut health. Because like I explained before I went to America, my stomach was on its arse. I had really, really bad IBS symptoms. I'm not saying this is one of the things that has cured it, but it's definitely helped. So I'll leave a link to these below because they're great. I've actually given my dad some as well because he's got Crohn's, so anything that can help his digestive system and gut health, you will get, I think you get some discount on the Athletic Greens, and then you'll also get, I think, a year's supply of the vitamin 2, AG, D3 plus K2. The other thing that we just got, which is, this is really cool, is the Garmin Phoenix 6S, which is now got on my wrist. Oh, where you can see that. Basically, Lucy just got me it last week as a surprise. It was absolutely made up. She got me as a gift to kind of keep me inspired and motivated for my marathon prep, which is super cool. And I actually went, in case you haven't guessed, this is another day, I actually went for a little 3k run this morning, and it's way more accurate at measuring my heart rate. I went and did an easy run kind of a similar pace that I'd usually do, whereas my Apple Watch would have me at 160 to 170 beats per minute. This had me 140 to 150, so I think it's a lot more accurate. But the other thing that I'm going to get hold of is a heart rate strap for the chest, because again, from reading reviews, they're a lot more accurate. However, I've looked at the Garmin one, but then there's also a Polar one. If anyone's used either or, please leave some recommendations below, and I'll definitely check that out. But I'm buzzing to have this, can't wait to use it. Just fingers crossed the calf lasts long enough to be able to utilise it. So what I realised is that I haven't had to give an update to this room since it's getting done. Everything's been painted green now. I think that might have happened the last time I showed you, but we've also had this little, that little light put in, old retro light. I also picked up this cabinet from a charity shop. I think it was like 70 quid, which is really cool. So I've got some more whiskies on there, the whiskey glasses, a rum. After a little drawer, I'm going to put some more crystal glasses in. And it's got some other drawers at the bottom, which are really cool. So I really like this kind of rustic, old school feel. Got my cigar box over there with a whiskey tasting course book. Had all the, I don't know what you can see, these the copper plug sockets put in. I think they look really cool and go nicely with the room. These brand new, beautiful swivel brown chairs are now in. I've got picked these up from Facebook Marketplace. And then the only thing to do now is TV on the wall. I want some kind of like cow print sort of rug on the floor. Focus, bitch. And then I need a little coffee table, and then maybe like a little sort of shelf table thing there that I can put a vinyl player on, and then just a bookshelf at the back to put my books and make it look like I actually read. So I thought it was important to update. The reason why I didn't continue the video for the rest of the day last week and why I finished it today is I got to a point on the day we were filming and I just felt really anxious. I was having a bit of a shitty day, and it's important to realise that we all have those days, and just because you have one bad day doesn't mean that you have a bad life. And I think that's the easy perception to take when you don't give things context and take a step back. So I just thought, fuck it, I'll leave the video today. I'm not feeling it. I don't want to not put my all into the content that I'm doing, but I also think it's important to talk about those moments to give some relatability and some realisation that not every day is a good day. So here we are today, we're back on it. Been in the gym this morning, been for another run. We're probably now like under a week from starting marathon prep. I've got a session booked in with my running specialist to go with the foot. Hopefully I'll be able to show you a bit of that next video, but I'm just super excited to be able to get back into running. Everything's been going well, touch wood, so far. The max I've done is 12k, but we're getting there. I'm hoping to keep the videos more regular now and coming through the marathon prep, and also showing other shit that's going on. If you enjoyed the video, please drop it a like. If you're not already, subscribe to the channel, and I'll see you in the next one.
Done finna jump for the shit up top.